Mr. Truck here. We're in the mountains again. We're up by the same place we were last weekend. We are up by the Bunt School on Highway 7, actually 72, going toward Estes. You hear gunfire. People love their guns up here. Several places to shoot. Between the motorcycles and gunfire, I hope you can hear us. I'm here with my my oldest son, David. David, how much power? I should tell you what we have. We are reviewing 2019 Nissan Titan. This is the Pro4X. The off-road package has a really cool dark green. I'll tell you what the color that really is. But we're up here with our four-wheelers and side-by-side, having fun jumping hills and pulling our toy hauler trailer. So how much horsepower and torque does this Titan? This is an Endurance 5.6 V8 with a 7-speed automatic. What's the power?
It's got 390 horsepower and 394 foot-pound torque.
Something like that, yeah. Cool. So come join us. We're going to be driving this truck all over up here in the mountains, pulling the trailer, and we're going to be up in the mountains with our four-wheelers. And hopefully some more of the family's coming. We'll probably shoot a few guns, too. Everybody likes to shoot guns in the mountains if we have a proper target that's in a safe area. So come join us.
If you have a short bed truck, you know it's not easy to hook up to a gooseneck. Pop-Up came out with these extensions from 9 inches to 16 inches to keep you from breaking out your back window when you're pulling a gooseneck trailer. And everybody uses a short bed. That's the most proper truck there is a crew cab short bed. So protect that window.
We're testing out this new Titan 2019. My son really likes the Fender speakers. He thinks that's so cool. The guitar company is making speakers for Nissan. Now this truck, I want to see what color this is. It's a special color. If I can find it quickly enough. Oh, yep. Bilstein off-road shocks. That's all part of the Pro4X package. Hill descent, hill climb, locking rear differential. These are 18-inch tires. They're all-terrain. That's all part of the off-road package. That's what most of them are. Special all-terrain tires, special shocks, skid plates, and a locking rear end. That's kind of what they all have, all the off-road packages, and this is a very good off-road package. I've driven this many times, and we're going to see what kind of mile per gallon we're getting coming down the hill or up the hill with this trailer. But just driving around town and on the highway, mostly on the highway, I was getting 20 miles a gallon. This is actually rated 20 on the highway, 17 combined, 15 in the city. And the MSRP on this puppy is $54,290. And you'll see me compare that to the 150 I have in the yard there. And they're almost identical on price. And the off-road packages are almost identical. And they're very similar trucks. This one, of course, is the V8 5.6. And this rascal, it will tow up to 9,240. And the payload's 1,620. So for that trailer weight, that is a good payload. You can actually use that. The curb weight on this, from me weighing it, was 6,200 pounds. I got to weigh the trailer. We're not much. I think we are 65. I should be able to do that in my head. 65, 12. That's 77, and 5 is 82. So I'm saying the trailer weight with one side by side and one ATV is about 8,200 pounds. So it's not, we're nowhere near, well, I shouldn't say that. We're 1,000 pounds from maximum trailer towing capacity. So it's a good test. It's a good test at 8,200. But this is, it's a fun truck. This is the second edition. I was at the original launch in 2002 for the 2003 Titan when it first came out, the series before this. And this one's a little bigger, they've done quite a few things to it, to the engine and all that. Let's see. Let me read off some of the cool stuff on here. This, we know, is a 390 horsepower, 394 torque, 7-speed. It has, of course, they were the first ones to have the brake force, well, let's see, the dynamic control, the stability control. This is one of the first trucks I remember having that back in 2003, before anybody did. And an empty truck needs that because an empty truck, the back end wants to fishtail around. without that weight in there, and you drive a truck probably more empty than you do loaded. Loaded, they handle better. Any truck does, but they were the first ones to have the stability control, and I really appreciated that. And there's a lot of things that they did first. The first ones have a bed liner, sprayed in factory bed liner, and they had all that tracking system. It's in the floor, it's in the walls, in the front, and it's great for hauling ATVs or anything. I mean, you can anchor all that in. They were the first ones to have all that. So I think that cargo management's a really high point of this truck. They've been doing it the longest, and I really appreciate it. I think that's one way to save people's lives, so stuff isn't flying out the back and hitting people or hitting school buses or any of that. So that's all good. So they're big on safety. Of course, it's got 8-way. This is a loaded truck, 8-way power seat, lumbar, power lumbar. The back, you can fold the seats up and then fold out these little table things for a flat loading floor. And when I measured at home, this is only an inch shorter than the 150. The 150 back in 2015, when they made that bigger aluminum cab, was the biggest one out there. Now everybody's gone to a bigger crew cab. But, of course, this has the rear AC vent. This is, it has a good brake control, and it's right in the middle of the console. And coming up the mountain here, I really liked the grade shifting. It was doing very well. We'll see how it holds me going down the hill. But it would actually, I did some small up and downs, and it would shift right up to 4,000 RPM and shift down a gear to hold you. So the grade shift on this is working really good. We'll see when I come down the mountain, because I just did it on short runs before, and I was impressed with it. So we'll see how it is on a longer drop coming out of the mountains. 7-inch touchscreen. I'm kind of getting used to these bigger ones, but it works, and it's got all the backup cameras and the split screens and the 360 views. It's got all the cool stuff and these cool speakers from Fender. So of course the sound is great, but a lot of USB connections, and we've been using them all. But it's the dual zone. It's all the things for a loaded truck that you would want. It's just totally normal. It says the removable lockable tailgate. I almost did that. Took it out so I could get an ATV in here, because my ATVs are a little longer than what this 5.5-foot bed is. And if I figured it might be harder to unplug that camera, but I guess I should have tried it to see how hard it is to take off that tailgate, because a lot of times that's would have been just perfect for putting a big ATV in here and not having the tailgate in the way of hitting the trailer on corners, because I was worried about that. We spent a lot of time balancing this load out, since we are within 1,000 pounds of maximum trailering capacity. We didn't want it squatting too much. We got a good weight distributing hitch on there. Of course, it's Gen Y. I always use Gen Y adjustable hitches. And we're also using the Tucson, which I don't think it's on, but the Tucson power monitoring that is so cool. It tells you air pressure and heat in every tire on the trailer, so that'll save your bacon. But yeah, we always like to try out a few accessories on here. And this is our toy hauling trailer. You saw it. It's a work and play from Forest River. But the normal, this has actually got a good warranty. As I recall, Nissan's one of the better warranties out there. It is a 5-year, 100,000 mile bumper to bumper. And you can't beat that. Everybody else is like a 3-year, 36. A lot of the engines, drivetrains are up to 100,000. But this is bumper to bumper, 5-year, 100,000 miles. So you can't complain about that. I love that. But yeah, I mean, the plug-in was right. The little door that goes on your 7-way should be going up so that little tab hooks on your trailer plug. That's an important thing, because when, like, a lot of these vehicles now are doing a door at the bottom, which means that the trailer plug can actually bend down from the weight of the cord and bouncing of the cord and unplug part of the wires, which a lot of times it's your brakes on the bottom. And this one has the proper door. So I'll be talking to some of these other manufacturers, because that needs changed on the ones that have the door opening the wrong way. They used to all open from the top, and that's a safer way to keep your trailer connected. And this has all the trailering components in your dash. You can check your lights, check everything on the trailer, make sure it all is working from your dash. I think they were one of the first ones to do that. And you can go out back there with your key fob and check them all out too. And this has the camping mirrors. I love these, or the towing mirrors, where they telescope out. I think it's the same company that makes these as it makes the Ford mirrors. You got a good spotter mirror on the bottom, and these are good. And my trailer's 8.5 feet wide. You need these kind of trailers on here. But yeah, it's called Utilitrack. That's what the tie downs are, and that's a wonderful system they have on here. And it's got a 120 volt outlet back there in the bed. got a power rear window and rear defrost. That's getting to be a normal thing now. But memory function for the steering wheel. So I guess this is the power tilt and telescope. So it has memory on that too, as well as the seats. I'm getting to where I really like that because, you know, a lot of people drive these media trucks, and this way you can remember where you like to have the seat and the steering wheel. So that's good. Rain sensing wipers. Oh, I like that too. But auto dimming rearview mirror. Of course, we got the cooled seats. Dimming outside mirrors. Reverse auto tilt. I'm starting to hate reverse auto tilt. I need to get the book out and find out how to take that away, because when I'm backing up, I want to see where I'm going, not the ground. And Nissan likes to point them down, so I guess you see the mud puddles or something. But there's a way of shutting that off, and I've got to figure that out. It's ridiculous that I put up with that, because it's one thing that drives me absolutely nuts. I think I told you the MSRP on this, including destination, is $54,290 right there with everybody else in this package. So, yepper. I like the console. Cup holders in the right spot. The cooled seats are right there. So, it's push button start. It's knobs on the four-wheel drive. Easy to put it in and out. So, I have very little to complain about this. You know, it just has it has quite a few knobs. Some buttons on the fan. I don't like that, but you know, it's laid out very nice. People think this looks a lot like the Ford, and maybe they did look at their designs, but who else would you copy but the #1 selling truck? Mr. Truck here for another exciting truck review. Now this week I've got the 2019 Titan Pro4X. And I thought before I took it on the road we'd compare a little bit to my truck. This is a 2018 F150 FX4. Both off-road packages. Both have special tires, special shocks, skid plates, and they're very similar in price. That's why I wanted to talk about them. But, you know, they're about the same size trucks, about the same size cabs. This is like an inch longer, and they're four-wheel drive crew cab. Now, the 150 is a 2018, but they didn't really change anything for 19. It has the 3.5 EcoBoost with a 10-speed. That's a V6. And the Titan has that Endurance 5.6 V8, and it's got a 7-speed. And the Titan is 390 horsepower, 394 pound-feet of torque. The Ford is 375 horsepower and 470 torque. So, very similar. Now, I'm not putting Titan down, but this is the #1 selling truck, and this is the last place selling truck. Nothing against the Titan. You know, the Ford came out, my goodness, I was trying to figure out what year this was. But actually, the TT Ford truck came out in 1917. You know, the Ford came out in 1903 is when they were founded. And then in 1948, they came out with the F1. That was the first F-Series. 1948, so we're talking 70-year head start on the Ford over what the Titan did. Oh, with a 70-year head start, you would think the Ford would be outselling the Titan. Now, and you know, the Titan came out in 2003. I first drove it in 2002 at the media launch. It was one of the first media launches I did in this business. And it was very interesting. They were fun to drive. That back end would slide out whenever you wanted to. You could do that autocross, really fun with them. But I've always liked this truck. The new 7-speed is an improvement on this. And you know, it's a little less horsepower, a little less torque. But this one will tow 9,240 with a payload of 1620. Mine F250 or F150 will tow 12,800 and a payload 1677, 1,677. Now that's it's all very close. I mean, the fuel mileage on the highway on this gets 23, and I've tested that. It does get 23. We're going to find out on this one. Right now on the highway, it's rated at 20 by the EPA. You know, in the MSRP, you're within $1,000 of each other. So, you know, that's what they are. But, you know, the poor, I feel sorry for the Japanese models, even though they're made in America, the Nissan Titan and the Toyota, is they're going against, you know, a lot of years ahead of them in this country. And people in this country are very brand loyal. You know, it's between John Deere and, say, Case International, Presbyterians against the Catholics, Republicans against the Democrats. Everybody is loyal to something in this country. It's a big deal, and if your grandfather drove a Ford, you might well be driving a Ford. Or if your grandfather drove a Ford or a Dodge or a Chevy or a Ram. That's kind of how it goes. We do what the people around us do. We do what our friends do. We especially do what our dads and grandfathers did. And that's kind of how it works. So Nissan has to keep fighting against that. Now, they made a lot more headway since this new model came out. This half-ton and the XD have both outsold the old model, and that's a good thing. And there's nothing wrong with the trucks. I actually like these trucks. It was in one of my finalists when I was trying to count down to where I was going to end up with buying a new truck. And this has camper mirrors. I really like these trailer mirrors. And my truck, I'm going to get them for it because it's really nice to have them. I tow trailers all the time. But this is set up well for a trailer. And we're going to go pull trailers here in a little bit. We're going to pull an RV up to the mountains with some ATVs and side-by-sides in it and camp out for a few days. Where I did last week with the kids, we're going to go up to Bunn's school. So I think that was smart to do that. Of course, it's got fog lights. It's got the locking rear end. So you can really go play in the mountains like we're doing up here. And having fun in this truck. This one's got passenger room for 5, which I guess is pretty normal for a high-end model. But the back seats have a lot of leg room in there, and they've done a really good job with the size of this cab. I think everything went a little bigger on this model, which came out, gosh, like a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. The XD came out first. They're mid-duty between half-tons and three-quarter tons. And this one came out like a year or two after that. But it's a comfortable truck. And, you know, it's right in the same range with most of the full size for fuel mileage. And it's got good power. I've always had fun with these. I did more autocross with the old model, and it would really break loose in the end. You could slide around corners. You could drift. It was good. It was a fun drifting truck. This one, I haven't tried that yet. It's a little heavier truck, and they probably have enough electronics on here that it won't let me go skidding like I like to do. But anyway, fun truck. Now this is our Gen Y Torsion Hitch. It says those rubber rods through there like a horse trailer axle, and that takes the bump out of the trailer. We like those, and I've got also, of course, hooked to a weight distributing hitch, which you need on a half-ton. All half-tons definitely need a weight distributing hitch to level you out and control sway. You want to get one with good sway control, and this has it. But, you know, we've got generator on here. We can do anything. We got big propane tanks, 2 batteries. These are 6 volts. We can go a long time. And I have a solar charger on here, which keeps those batteries charged. And I was always surprised. We did have a hailstorm kind of knocked out my leveling thing. I got to get a new leveling thing. But, yep, we like our Torsion Hitch from Gen Y. dokie. We're headed home. 3 days up here at Bunt School. All the trails. We only got scared 2 or 3 times.
Just once.
I was in the air on 2 wheels instead of 4 about half the time. That's how it goes. That's having fun. Adventures like Lewis and Clark discovering America. Anyway, we're headed home. You're going to see beautiful footage on the way home with these Rockies. And we are towing, I've said this before, we're towing with the 4-wheeler and the ATV, the side-by-side in the back. We're about 8240. Yeah, we're right on the money. This thing is towing capacity is 9240, so we're 1,000 pounds below that. And that gives us enough room for the tongue weight. So that gives us 820 pounds of tongue weight, and then us, we got 1,600. So, yeah, I don't think the 2 of us weigh 800, do we?
I hope not.
No, I think we're okay. I think we're okay. It was fun up here. There was a lot of activity. Last week was up here Memorial Day weekend, and it was packed. And today was quite a few people. Yep. I videoed some Jeeps climbing stuff. We saw one Jeep that got rolled several times, and they were pulling it down the mountain. And so it was, they had a Jeep on the front of it and some other SUV on the back. That's a good way to do it because, you can't depend on the brakes on the crashed vehicle. So they had one front, one back, and they were going down a pretty steep part of the hill. But it was interesting to watch. Nobody got hurt in that. But if I want to check on going down the hill is how our tow haul mode works. We got it on, and there was places on the way up that had some drops, and it did really well. I was impressed with it. It shot right up to 4,000 RPM, just like I want. Oh, there are surveyors. Don't want to run over too many of those. There's no points in running those guys over. But anyway, Sharon rode a lot of motorcycles this weekend. What did he say? The yelling?
No, he's yelling at the other guy.
Anyway, we're doing good. I like this Titan. It's got plenty of power. I mean, I don't think you'd have any problem with maximum weight at 9240. Now, coming down the hill, pretty good grade. Around about 2,200 RPM. Did you have fun, son?
Yeah, it was fun.
I don't really have you on camera. You're kind of being camera shy. Oh,
I was kind of hoping not to be in there.
Well, where are you now? Can you see both of us? I can't see.
Yeah,
it's dark.
you can see me now.
Okay.
That means I have to participate.
Yes, this is my oldest son, Dave. He's going to have my youngest son and his family too, but things happen.
It's not a bad pickup. I like the leather and stuff in it.
Yeah.
It looks like it's sturdy leather too.
Yeah, it's thick. There's nothing wrong with the way this is made. This is a good truck. I like the toy.
We haven't got to play this radio. It's got Fender speakers.
Yeah, I know. You probably turn the radio on now. We got XM radio, man. Listen to that stuff. Well, we got on navigation. See, there's nothing wrong with that stereo. That's Fender music. You can't play it too long or I'll get copy infringement.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know that song. Did you know? I didn't know that
No,
song.
I never heard that song before. Anyway, coming down Highway 7 on a Monday. I get back in the office, I get a lot of phone calls on Monday. Bicycles up here, everybody's up here. Is that your phone or mine? My phone.
We lost it.
It's somewhere. Anyway.
I like the lights in the back of in the box. That was kind of nice too.
Yeah,
and then the hooks, the tie down hooks on the side of the bed.
They've done a really good job with cargo management. I've always been happy with how Nissan does that. Yeah, there's 4 LED lights back there. Yeah. They come on automatically. The one on the Ford, you have to push the button. These come on whenever you open a door, whenever you do normal stuff. They come on. No, it's awesome.
What did we ever figure out what color it is?
Well, look,
because it looks black, and I thought it was black, and it's not black. It's like a deep green.
Yeah, it's a metallic green. It should say somewhere near the top. It's a black interior, and then it's got, you know, like almost a camel white, a light colored roof inside here. So that gives you good light. But yeah, I'm comfortable in the seat. It's a nice thick seat. And even the doors, it's similar to what Ford did, where they have it, excuse me, where they have the door drop down where the mirror is. So you have a little bit of visibility, which I always like. I mean, that's why semis did it.
Well, let's see where it says. It says monotone paint package.
It doesn't say anywhere, or even under options. But usually the paint's toward the top of the Maronis, but it might be in their optional column, which is usually the last column. Yeah, it's June. We're heading into summer. Gotta enjoy our mountains in the summer up here. But no, this handles well. We got a weight distributing hitch. We got a Gen Y hitch on there. So we're stabilized our trailer because it's 8.5 feet wide. The box is 26 feet long, and then I think it's got a 6-foot tongue. So you got some length to it. And you got to have good towing mirrors when you're 8.5 feet wide if you want to see anything back there.
It's got decent sized mirrors.
Yeah, they are.
But are they far enough to see what you need to see?
Well, nobody makes them quite wide as I'd like to have them, but these are good mirrors. 8.5 feet wide, and then you got a 6-foot wide body, maybe 6.5 on some of these trucks. You know, that means you're not quite. It's hard to reach that far, so you do have to whip the trailer a little bit, or really watch what you're doing on curves. But these are good towing mirrors. They're double arm. But so I'm running about 1,800 RPM. I'm not using the brake. 40 miles an hour, and a 7-speed. It's holding the RPMs there. Actually, I don't know what drop we're going, but it's staying steady. We're probably at least a 6% grade. Do a lot of climbing here in the mountains in altitude.
It does have a mean sound in the motor once you do start climbing. It does sound.
Yeah, I'm hoping we get into someplace where you can accelerate here and you listen to the motor, because it is. It's a good sounding rumble.
And it's not
V8.
automated.
No, it's the real. No, I don't think Fender has pumped in the different exhaust note, you know, from some other engine. No, it's the real thing, which is cool. It does have a nice rumble to it. But yeah, 40. Somewhere we get down the bottom of the mountain, I'll be able to accelerate and get a sound.
A little, yeah.
Now listen to the motor. Pretty cool. It's about 4,000 RPM. About to get into 7th gear. Yeah, this thing's got some noise to it. I love it. It's got a deep throat. And right now, towing this trailer, let's see, down the hill at 40. Now we're averaging about 60. It's getting 11.5 miles per gallon, according to the computer. And we figured out the heated and cooled seats on the knob way down in the console. That's okay. On the day like today, you need the air conditioning and the cooled seat in the daytime. Nighttime, you need the heated seats. That's how the Rockies are. Hot and cold until it gets cooled off at night. This thing's doing pretty well. It's a smooth ride and rig. Got the Gen Y hitch set right, weight distributing set right. So we're only squatting about the normal amount you should squat. It's about an inch if you ever set up right. Flying.
Wow.
Wow.
He's in a hurry.
He is.
He just blew us away.
I know, but he's no trailer on his truck.
That's true.
You want me to race him?
I don't know about
Okay.
that.
Okay. It's neat. I haven't tried to shift this manually. I should probably do that on these hills.
Oh, that's different, ain't it?
Well,
You
that's
shift it?
Ford does this on the stick.
Oh,
Some of them do them on the console thing where you have a plus and minus. You go through, modes. Still in tow haul mode. this is important stuff. It's trailering ability and function. So, trailering control at maximum weight, and we are close to that. So there's nothing wrong with the way this is handling this load for acceleration or braking or anything you want to do. So, I don't know, in a half-ton class, at this weight rating, that you could, that could go any faster. I think it is fine with the 7-speed. So I'll give it a 20 there. And then truck handling. These Nissans, these Titans have always handled well. Even the one back from 2003, they have always handled well. They're fun to drive. They drive, like a car, as far as curves and all of that. So nothing wrong with the way this handles. So I'm going to give it a 20 there. Then reaching the controls, they're pretty good. The heated seats and cooled seats are a little obnoxious, but the brake controller is in the middle at the right height, that's just to the inside, which actually, if you don't have too many pop bottles or water bottles in a way, you can get to it pretty good, but it's not perfect if you do. You actually use the console. So I'm going to take off 1 point there for reaching the controls. The rest of them are good. I mean, yeah, the fan is a button thing, not a knob. That irritates me, but that's, oh well. But the rest of them get pretty cool. And this has buttons on both sides, 3 lockers on your left side. And it's also where you adjust your headlights on this. And it's kind of anti-trailering because you can, if you're loaded and you're squatted, you can change the height of your headlights. You can aim them more toward the road. And that's good, but I would think it'd be better if you leveled out the load, leveled out the trailer with a good weight distributing hitch. But, I mean, it's kind of neat, and that's, Toyota does that too, just the Japanese headquartered companies do that headlight thing. But, I mean, a lot of people find it useful, so I'm not going to totally complain about it. So we're on reaching the controls. Is that where I'm on? We'll take 1 point off of that, so that's 19. The mirrors. The mirrors are great. I mean, it could be bigger, but this is not a semi. For a towing mirror in a half-ton class, they're fine. So we'll go 20 there. Acceleration with the trailer. With this trailer, I mean, it's not a diesel, but it's not the fastest. Nothing really wrong with it. So I'm going to go with a 19 there. I think it's adequate. It's not superior. So that's 3 points off. So that makes 97 the score. If I'm doing this right. Did you add up all my numbers?
Yep, that's right.
97? Okay. Which means it's a mighty fine trailering machine at 97.